Stream is live.
All right.
Good evening, everyone.
We are talking American hand egg.
Not
Not you, Wilson. Not you, Wilson. I wasn't calling you a hand egg.
Okay.
That's what he calls American football.
Which is played with the hand.
Yeah.
And there's no actual ball. It's an egg.
European football is just played not with the hands. There should be no hands ball. But you play with the head, the shoulders, the legs, the knees, the feet.
Kicking the other guy.
Playing all sorts of stuff, just not the hands. Or no arms ball. I don't think you can use elbows.
No arms. No, you can't. You can't move the arms if the ball's coming towards you.
No arms ball.
No, the arms are when you push the other player in front of you.
Yeah. Good evening, Titgovlin.
Hello.
Titgovlin. Is Newfoundland underwater as well? We are underwater. I saw a forecast for tomorrow. We're waiting for a high pressure zone to finally come up from the Canary Islands. But then they showed North America as well, and like the entire eastern seaboard was covered in dark blue. And then all of a sudden, why is Alberta like with a dark red area? It must be summer there.
Did you make it to the comic shop this week, Wilson?
As a matter of fact, I made it there today. I was able to pick up a few books that was waiting there for me and a few off the shelf.
It's funny, I got 6 comics this week, and 4 of them are first issues.
Oh, really?
And I was just like, whoa, we got a lot of first issues this week.
Someone says a town called Badger is flooded. Yeah. Yeah, one of the cities that's flooded is where Mind the Comics lives. So, but he's okay. He's been posting messages on Facebook.
Is he on high ground?
Doesn't really mean much. If it's on high ground, you just get rivers coming from over you and downstream to you, so you can actually get a house. You can make the house slide.
Huh.
So you're buying a magazine.
I'm buying a magazine?
Yeah. You said you're gonna subscribe that new magazine.
Oh, that's right. I ordered the first issue on my pull list. What was the name of it? Comics the Magazine?
You should know. You were the one who told us.
I know. I forget. You know what I do? The email comes in. I get an email of all the final order cutoff stuff, and I look through it. I see how many comics are already in my pull list, which is why I only had 2 on my pull list this week. So then I can see what else I can order. So I ordered some first issues, and sometimes, since I think it's 4 or 5 weeks before it comes out, is the final order cutoff. So sometimes by the time it comes, I forget why I was interested in it. So I've already forgotten I ordered the first issue of Comics Magazine, which is, it's going to be comic book sized, I think 32 pages. So it must be printed like a comic. I guess they're...
Yeah, the solicitation says 32 pages, but the promotional material says 48. So...
Oh, yeah, you never know which is... So maybe it's 48 pages. And it's got Absolute Batman on the cover, because why not? And it was only $3, I think, for the first one. So that's a good price. I was like, you know what? I'll give it a try.
Well, but of course it should have Absolute Batman. I mean, Absolute Batman is something that's fashionable right now.
Right.
I mean, Wizard had Spider-Man by Todd McFarlane on its '1 cover, which was fashionable back then.
And mentioned it had indie stuff in it. I'm just saying, I'm not being a mainstream superhero guy. I'm not holding it against it that it had Absolute Batman on the cover. I understand perfectly why it's got Absolute Batman on the cover. If I were starting a comic magazine right now, I'd probably put Absolute Batman on the cover.
Yeah, it makes all the sense. You want to put the most popular character you could get your hands on,
right,
on there as a cover.
I think it's even a new cover too, by Nick Dragata or whoever did the first cut. I don't think it's a pickup piece.
It's got some comics previews.
Yeah.
Something called Thermonuclear Chicken Pollo.
I haven't seen a new comic magazine in a long time, too.
Well, yeah, I was going to make a magazine if you can put everything on Instagram.
Right. There's the Tio Maro stuff, and that's about the extent of it.
Right, but they haven't launched any new title lately.
No. And their stuff is all nostalgia driven.
Yeah.
Right.
Alberta is dark red because everyone there is angry and stupid. I forgot to word it. I'll just watch your video.
There you go. A new comic magazine.
What kind of distribute, how it's doing, distributing wise, is there's if it's going to end up in my comic book shop or not. Curious.
Yeah, I don't know who the distributor is. I didn't see that. It may have been that little indie distributor, maybe Lunar, maybe who's the third one? I can't remember who the distributors are now. There's 3 distributors. There's the one who does all the little indie stuff. There's
Bilbo.
Lunar. Who's the other?
It's Bilbo.
Bilbo?
Bilbo with PH.
Oh, Philbo. Okay. And then there's a third one that the book company.
Penguin.
Yes, they're the third one. So I assume it's going through one of those 3.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, I don't think there is any trade magazines out there. Like, is Comics Buyer's Guide stopped some time ago, I believe.
No, it's just all the Tio Maro stuff. That's all. That's all I can think of.
And the TCJ is what, like an issue a year?
Yeah.
Which kind of makes sense. I mean, if you're going to put something out, let's have something that serves as a document that tells you the best of the year, something that can. Okay, let's see what happened. So let's see what happened in that year. Especially, and it makes sense for TCJ because they're mostly a critique magazine. So it's not like you need it to tell you what's coming out next week. It's not a promotional. All right, Doug is here.
Evening.
It's really that comic companies and magazine companies really need to charge what they currently do.
Yeah.
Well, yes, but no, but yes. It's always that, isn't it?
Yeah.
You could probably sell a few extra copies if you took the price down, but then if you don't raise sales, you're just losing money. And of course, advertising is dead.
Yeah, I think there's especially Marvel is going to charge as much as people will pay, kind of thing. But I just wish it was more was trickling down to the creators because it's not.
Yeah.
If you just saw, who was it? Kevin McGuire?
Kevin McGuire announced that he's not doing any more DC covers.
Right. He's not doing
He hasn't received a page rate in 21 years.
Yeah.
And that does not sound outrageous in the sense of the way comic companies work.
Right.
Yeah.
He hasn't had a raise in 20 years and he wants to do his own projects. And he says it's now or never. So
makes sense.
I think he said he's 65.
I don't know the age.
I think he was. I think it was 65. He said he was maybe a couple years younger, maybe 63. I can't remember. Whatever it was, he's like, it's not worth my time anymore to do covers for DC. So I was like, oh, okay.
Yep.
So the stuff, the cover price hikes aren't trickling down to the creators.
No, not at all. I don't think it ever did.
Yeah.
Well,
It
it
never
would.
just
It would. I mean, it would. I mean, the price hikes are so blatant, and then they reduce rates and come up with all of it, with all the all possible legal excuses not to give you your dues.
yeah.
I was looking here at the preview for Comics the Magazine. I don't know the people. I don't know the names of the people who are involved. So the preview has an interview with Ronda Rousey by Tiffany Lee,
Don't recognize that name.
and then there's two pages about auteur theory by Dave Baker, and the art director is Rico Renzi.
I don't think
Yeah.
I recognize any of those names.
Mm,
Rico
yeah.
Renzi sounds familiar, but I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know if these guys had ever done a website or something, because
Yeah.
I practically don't pay any attention to comics news websites. They're
Yeah.
because they don't do comics news.
Right.
No, they do movie news.
But for $3, I'll take a chance on this new magazine.
Yeah, and we can do a big review here, page by page.
Yeah.
Page by page.
Actually, no, that's copyright infringement.
Every other page by every other page.
Well, we can probably go over a few of the articles and see.
Yeah.
You can tell us if they're good or not.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
Because
I also got to.
Because here's the thing: people wanting to read about comics is a niche within comics.
Oh yeah,
It's always been that.
definitely, definitely.
And by the time all of the magazines that predate Wizard, none of them were anything that was successful in the same manner that Wizard was. I think the price guide helped, but out of all of the rest, I don't know. Like,
Though I'd have to say, when it comes to websites, though, there are more people who want to read about comics than there are comics readers. When it's free on a website.
Well, people who used to read comics will still use the news to keep up.
People who are peripherally interested in comics will occasionally check out that stuff. People who used to read comics will check out that stuff more than people who are currently reading comics. On some of these bigger websites have more traffic than comics.
Yeah, it's
but
like
if you have
Wilson
to
said,
pay $3 for it, maybe not.
It's like Wilson said, when the movies came, they all decided we're gonna see if they could get mainstream eyes on them, and they started talking about movies almost exclusively.
Yeah, that's when I stopped buying the comics buyer's guide, when it turned to that magazine format and started being all about the movies. It's like, oh well, no need to renew my subscription. Then it died quickly afterwards. So it must have been dying pretty quickly before then.
Yeah.
And then we have the books about comics, which are even less interesting to most people. I don't know. Like I've been reading the book about the Invisibles. Now that I've finished reading the series, and I'm reading like a chapter for each book every one or two chapters per day. Light reading. It's 3 or 4 pages each chapter, dedicated to each issue. And I've always wondered how many people who read The Invisibles want to read this information guide to The Invisibles.
Wow. 10%, maybe? That might be a big number.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't know how many people stuck through it. Then we have the people who only bought the trades like me.
Yeah.
So maybe I think that's 50. If it's 50, if overall between the people who stuck through the series, the people who quit the series, and the people who only bought the trades, maybe 50,000 worldwide. 10%
That's what
would
I'd
be
guess.
five.
That was the number that, yeah. So maybe 5,000 read the book.
Even that's too much. I mean, a book about comics selling 5,000 copies, that would actually
Yeah,
be profitable.
Right.
2,500.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. It doesn't give me a print run. And actually, this is the second edition.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It could probably just be in the hundreds of copies too.
Yeah. Sure, because it's essentially self-published.
Yeah.
Distributed.
You don't write a book about the Invisibles to make money.
No, but I remember somebody interviewed the guy who wrote this when it came out, because Grant Morrison was Patrick Neely.
Patrick Neely. Don't recognize the name.
Yeah. I think it was a Morrison superfan.
Okay.
And because of that,
well, I wonder how many books about individual comic series have been written. Not a lot.
Not a lot. There are books. The majority of books about comics are catalogs of characters.
Yeah.
Like all the superheroes of the world, or
all the Disney table books.
Yeah. Or they're coffee table books, essentially official histories,
right.
which and they all ended up looking the same. I mean, how many times can you read the history of Marvel Comics?
Right. Something about an individual artist, like Fire and Ice, the Bill Everett one, or the Kirby one. There's books about individual creators. What about one series? Examining one series? I'm trying to think. I can't think of one.
Jess Nevins did the books about the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Okay. There's got to be something about Watchmen. If there was one book that somebody wrote an entire book about, it's got to be Watchmen.
Yeah.
But I can't think of any others off the top of my head.
Yeah, I don't think there's a book about Sandman.
There's an annotated Sandman.
Right. Which started as a website.
Right. That's kind of similar.
Well, yeah. Well, the two League books are annotations.
Okay.
Because Jess Nevins I'm not sure if he hasn't retired now, because this was 25 years ago. And I knew him from the Avengers mailing list. He was no spring chicken back then. But he was a librarian, so he had all of these references that he could go through, which is the same reason he did the books about Victoriana, about the Victorian era characters, and that one was a catalog. But he knew he used to post the league annotations on Usenet, and we'd all go through it, and then he did the expanded version for the book. But he would know, okay, so this character is from book whatever, which came out in 1996 or something like that. Because there's a lot of cameos that are in League that most people wouldn't know.
Oh yeah. When I read the Black Dossier, my friend Bunch was my annotations. He explained to me who everyone was after I read it, because I didn't know. Because he knows a lot about British fictional history.
No, I do know a few things. I mean, I was going through oh, look, it's an adult version of Just William. Because I used to have BBC on cable here, so I could and they would rerun a few of the old kids shows when I was in high school. and I watched some of them, like Grange Hill. Grange Hill was an you know how UK soap operas go on and on and on and on. Well, the Grange Hill is one because it's set in a school. But then the kids age and they're replaced by new kids. But some of the teachers stayed, and sometimes they get new teachers because the actors are replaced. Galvin found out that this week that Art Adams is early 60s. Yes, he is. I never picked up Long Shot as a kid because it was from an old man artist. But Long Shot was the hot new thing at the time.
Yeah. He must have missed out that Art Adams was the hot young artist, man.
He was the young cool image guy. Turns out he was younger. Yeah, exactly. If it wasn't for Art Adams, we wouldn't have Todd McFarlane.
There we go.
Hello, Missing Mars.
TGIF.
We wouldn't have any love checks.
I got to read some extra stuff this week because of the cold. Went to my shelf and picked off a couple of things. One of the things that was really good, and the theme seemed to be, this is a couple of stuff I think I got in the last couple of months. The theme seemed to be old stuff that was new to me. This is Blanche it's a Rick Geary book. And it turns out this came out in 2009, but originally was in 3 comics in 1992, 1993, and 2001. That must have been before I was keeping track of all this Rick Geary stuff. His books usually come out in this size, his Treasury of Victorian Murders. And it's actually 3 books. It's Blanche in New York, Blanche in Hollywood, and Blanche in Paris. And Blanche is a musician. She's a concert pianist. Let's see, the first one takes place in 1907. Then I think around 1907, 1915, she's in Hollywood. And then when she's in Paris, 1921, she's in Paris. So we got about every 7 years. And it's a really good story. The one in New York, she's just a young woman moving to New York who's studying with a piano teacher. So you get all these views of old New York he's drawing, and she gets involved in this little mystery, which ends up in some sort of Cthulhu-like monster, but then it's done with. No. And then she gets involved in Hollywood. 7 years later, she moves to Hollywood. She becomes a musician for the movies, for this little movie company. She has another little adventure. She gets involved in labor movements and strikes at the time, and she ends up working in movies. In the third one, she goes to Paris, and she gets involved in a murder and a plot with a secret energy globe that's going to the Soviets. So it's a lot of fun. If you've never read Rick Geary stuff, his stuff is kind of straightforward and fun. He's got, of course, this, liney, cartoony style. He's an excellent storyteller. Oh, there she is, falling off the Brooklyn Bridge. Don't worry, she survived. She became a celebrity for falling off the Brooklyn Bridge and surviving. There she is conducting an orchestra in Hollywood. But I always have fun with Rick Geary books. He does his Treasury of Victorian and 20th Century Murders are all like true crime books where he just gives you the facts about the crime and tells the story about the crime.
That thing kind of reminds me of a French graphic novel series called Blanche Epiphanie, which is also set in a Victorian era, but it's in France. but it's a lot. It's a lot more erotic.
So, this Rick Geary is not erotic in the least.
Yeah.
Nope. Though he does have one sort of back of a woman nude painting that takes place in the first one. Ooh, it was scandalous for the time.
No, Blanche Epiphanie has actual breasts on the covers.
Have you guys ever read any of Rick Geary's stuff?
Not really. Did Goblin ask if you're feeling any better?
I'm feeling a little bit better. I really expected to wake up this morning and feel better, and I didn't. It's like my cold moved down to my body today. It was like all up in my head. Today I was just tired all day. My body was tired. So I'm yawning even now. But I think I'm feeling better.
Yeah, Rick Geary is one of those names that I always keep running into. Everybody that I know mentions him, and then I never remember to actually look for his material.
He's been around forever.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think he did stuff for National Lampoon. Wow, that mint is killing me. Woo! That hit me like napalm or something. Going up my sinuses. Woo. Making my eyes water. It's hitting me like spicy pepper for some reason.
Yeah, but I never remember to go look for Rick Geary. But then I think I would have to, especially here, I would have to order it directly, because I'm not sure any of the comic shops would think about having a Rick Geary book in the stands.
Yeah, this is dark. Most of his. Let me see. Who is this? NBM Comics is who publishes his Victorian literature stuff. I don't even think that stuff goes through comic shops. I get it all from like Amazon or eBay.
Rick Geary is almost 70.
Wow.
No, almost 80.
Almost 80?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he started in the early 70s.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Huh.
Yeah, I don't know if he's done anything new lately. Because like I said, this is actually old that I got. I didn't even realize it was so old.
Okay, so there's a Brazilian edition of one of his comics, because he did when they revived the Classics Illustrated. He did Great Expectations. And I know that was published in Brazil.
Huh. I'm going to mute myself and blow my nose. I'll be right.
Yeah. But no, I never remember to go look for his stuff.
I have very little of his stuff. Like I believe he did a pinup in one of the Godzilla portfolio books. Mm-hmm. And looking at his art style, it's like, okay, I've seen him do some stuff for Dark Horse. So I might have like seen a Dark Horse thing that he's done. So that would be like the only thing that I could recall art wise. So it might have been like him having a short story printed in something or another, especially the Dark Horse stuff. So that's the only place that I really recall seeing his artwork.
Yeah, he had short stuff printed in various places.
And
he did a Gumby thing, and chances are I might have that. So whatever I have of his is most likely a Dark Horse project.
In anthologies.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that's where I first discovered him too, in various anthologies. I can't remember when I first started getting his Treasury of Victorian Murders. Must be 20 years ago now. But I've got 20 of them, so they're a lot of fun.
He did some stuff called Twisted Tales, and I'm pretty sure I have some of those books.
And he's got stuff like besides his he's got like a Trotsky biography. A J. Edgar Hoover biography. It's got, Sacco and Vanzetti is one of them. The Beast of Chicago, the Lindbergh Child. So that's all this true crime stuff. Lover's Lane murders, Jack the Ripper. Then he's occasionally got fiction too, like Blanche, The Adventures of Blanche. Which, by the way, the motif of this is Blanche is supposed to be his grandmother, and he found these letters from her. So these are all written as if they're letters that his grandmother wrote to his great-grandmother. So they're supposed to be true stories of the adventures of his grandmother when she was a young woman.
Okay, turns out I've read one Rick Geary story.
What's that?
He did a segment in Harvey Kurtzman's Strange Adventures, that graphic novel that was put out by Byron Price for Epic.
Okay.
The one with the vampire sucking the Silver Surfer parody on the cover. And he did this. Rick Geary did a segment making fun of Lassie.
Yeah, he's been in lots of anthologies.
I'm sure he did some of those DC big books of whatever.
Ooh, he must have done. I don't remember any
Criminal.
one he did. But yeah, because they had a lot of people doing them, right? They were like, yeah.
And that's where I'm looking at the artwork that he has online. And it's like, oh, that had to be. He had to have done those.
That fit right in with those big books.
Yeah.
I forgot about them. They had a lot of people in them. How many of those did DC make?
About a dozen,
I'm not too sure.
There was a bunch of them, though, right?
Yeah. They were good
six?
sized books, and
yeah,
I know at least 6, if not more.
Yeah.
I think I moved them. I used to have them on this shelf here, but yeah, I've since moved them. Even tossed a few online to see if it would even sell, because like they're nice books, but it's like I'm never going to read these again.
Right. I know. I never hear anyone mention those.
Yeah.
Were they part of DC itself or Piranha Press or something?
I think it was Piranha Press.
Yes.
I think that was the label.
$17.
17. Wow.
Yeah.
I remember thinking, who's buying these? Because I just remember more of them came out than I thought the market would handle. I was like, wow, I wonder who's buying these.
Yeah, so it started with the Big Book of Urban Legends in 1994. That came out in November. Mike's Amazing World is listing them on Paradox, but I think the first one was still Piranha Press.
Oh, that's right, Paradox.
Mm-hmm.
Was another
and
one.
The last one was the Big Book of the 70s, which came out in May 2000.
That's a good run.
Yeah.
I think those were bookstore books too. That's where they were selling them.
I would imagine so. That they would be nice size anthology books to be sold outside of comic book shops. So they might have had a good deal with like Barnes and Nobles and stuff like that.
Yeah, something like that, I'd imagine. Ooh. Let me show you one of the number ones I got this week. The first number one is from Oni Press. It's The Autumn Kingdom. It's by Colin Bunn and Christopher Mitten. I gotta say, the art was nice. I like Christopher Mitten's art. But the plot was a little, because here's this girl with her big sword, right? Oh, there they are on the cover. There's the girl with her big sword and her sister with nothing. So the book starts with these two sisters and their mother, I think it is. Coming, I think this might be a sequel to something. Like it may be the Autumn Kingdom may have came first, and now it's the Autumn Kingdom, the Wraithbound Queen. The Wraithbound Queen. And so they're coming out of this and they're with their mother. And their mother's like, oh no, your father is trapped in the other world now. And so the two daughters are Summer and Winter, the two daughters are named. And they're like, come on, Dad's down here somewhere. We have to find him. But I'm like, one sister's got the big sword, and the other sister's like, can I carry that for a while? She's like, no, it's not too heavy. And I'm like, what's the other sister gonna do but get captured? So sure enough, they go on. The other sister gets captured because a whole bunch of creatures attack them, and she's got nothing to fight them off with. Well, her sister's got a big sword. So now she's got to go and rescue her father and her sister. But she's got a big sword. It's like, what does she take her other sister down there with no big sword? Like, what are they doing? So it was okay. But it made me go, what? A little too much. So I don't think I'm getting a second issue of that one.
It does sound weird.
Yeah, it was okay. I mean, they're, like I said, I think it was part of something else. And I'm like, why? Why don't you give... What's this other sister? Like a bunch of monsters attack them. The other sister's like punching them. This little girl punching monsters. She lost. Guess what? They captured her. It's like...
Captain Infinity is here. His favorite paradox is the grandfather paradox.
Well,
you
can't be your own grandfather.
Well, one big book that DC didn't do was the Big Book of Paradoxes. That was really interesting.
Didn't they? I thought they did.
They did?
That doesn't sound too far-fetched. They may have. Again, they did a lot of those big books. Well, speaking of books with number ones on it, one of the books that I picked up off the shelf is, Godzilla's been enjoying his 75th birthday. So he's been attacking the Marvel Universe. And this popped up only because it was an issue number one, and I picked it up off the rack. Is Godzilla Infinity Roar. So I have not caught up with what this is, because this opens up to me like it's in the middle of a story.
Not Infinity War. Infinity Roar. You get it? You get it? You get
it? Yep. So aliens are together complaining about Godzilla's in space. And they want to blame Earth for it. So now I don't know the story. I just know that it looks like Godzilla is being affected with the symbiote from Null. So whacking this is going to ensue. I don't know the storyline only because it felt like it started in the middle of it. But since I didn't really start it, our Avengers are in it.
So it's probably a one-shot, right?
I believe so.
So they're throwing you right in the middle of it. They got no build-up. They're just like, hey, you're in the middle of the story.
Yeah, exactly. And as far as I'm aware of, I think it's more than one issue. Yeah, because the back issue ends with no spoilers, but there's the cover to the next issue. So it's not a one-shot, so the Infinity Roar continues.
All right.
But Godzilla already took care of Earth, so now I guess he's in outer space. And I'm all for it, because why not?
Sounds fun. What do you think the chances are of a Marvel Godzilla omnibus with all the one-shots in it?
You have the one-shots. Yeah, there's a chance to reprint those Godzilla books from the original series because they're saying that that's part of that Godzilla continuity. So if there's money to be made, I believe they will make that.
Yep.
Because they have the files because they printed Godzilla in black and white once before in the Essentials.
Okay.
So I could see them doing that. I just don't know if there's a criteria of how many books needs to exist to make something like an Omni.
Well, they've made smaller ones.
Have they?
They've
Okay.
they've done smaller, like they don't call them omnibuses, but they do smaller, oversized collections. So
yeah, I could see them putting them all together. There's been enough. Yeah. I just don't know if we would get like I don't know if Godzilla left his own title to appear in other stories.
I don't think he did. I'm just thinking of all the latest Marvel Godzilla.
But all the latest ones, there
must be at least a dozen of them by now, right?
Yeah, if not more. Yeah.
Yeah.
They each had at least 4 issues that I'm aware of.
So there'd be enough at least for an oversized hardcover.
What's that?
There'd be at least enough for an oversized hardcover.
Yeah, and I would hope if they did that, they would also do the alternate covers where he doesn't appear in the book. There's just a cover image just to celebrate Godzilla.
Right.
Because there's been plenty of covers that way too.
Captain Infinity says the actual grandfather paradox is you can't murder your own grandfather. You can be your grandfather. But you can't murder him because otherwise you don't exist.
Right. You cannot go back in time to murder your own grandfather.
You won't exist either if you're your place.
That's a bootstrap paradox.
Yeah, and you can murder your own grandfather, just not before your father or mother is conceived. If you want to go back in time to yesterday and murder your own grandfather, you can.
Inherit his bottle cap collection.
Yeah.
Donald Rex is here. Hello, Donald.
Welcome.
Hello there.
Remembering Kirby today?
Is it his birthday or something?
I don't think so.
I remember most days. I was moving my Kirby book around today.
Oh, it's the anniversary of his death.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
32 years.
93?
94.
94?
Yeah, Phantom Force still came out in 93. Remember that one?
A long time.
His last book through Image.
Yep. Which got him his biggest payday, I remember.
Yeah. And the one of the reasons that Rob Liefeld ended up doing a podcast, so he could tell the story of meeting him.
I saw some little video with Rob Liefeld talking about how badly Marvel's doing. I was like, oh, okay. They haven't had a book with any heat in a while. He hasn't seen a time where DC has been this dominant. Like, okay, I guess I haven't been paying attention.
It
really want to analyze it.
Flows. Marvel's on top, then it's DC, then it's Marvel.
Yeah.
The grandfather's irrelevant. You can't go backwards in time when I rented yourself either. I
can try. Depends. That also depends on if you believe in alternate timelines or one timeline, or if the timeline is unalterable. You can go back into time and shoot yourself in an hour and shoot yourself if all it does is make an alternate timeline.
Or you was always meant to go back in time to shoot yourself.
Yeah.
Captain Victor. Captain Victory I think is my favorite Kirby. I really love that series. Micro Troops Forward. It was full of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Captain Victory fan.
Yeah. I didn't buy the hardcovers for Captain Victory and the Silver Star when they came out, and now I can get them.
Captain Victory never came out.
They didn't?
No. They were planning on it. I got Silver Star. They were planning on Victory coming out, but they could never find the artwork. They could never find good black plates to work from. So it never came out. I guess they had stats or something for Silver Star.
I was under the impression there was a reprint.
No, there isn't. There's a Captain Victory Graphite edition, which is the pencils, the Xerox pencils published. I know that. I never got that, and I know that exists. But the oversized hardcover like there is for Silver Star never came out. I know I pre-ordered it a couple of times. I was keeping track. I think it was Eric Larson who was doing it too, who said we couldn't put it out because we could never find good enough copies of the artwork. Like, oh, okay.
You can if it's a new timeline, but isn't the timeline split a lazy writing device? Because it doesn't really. There's no consequences. You just create a new timeline.
Right. New timeline. Another first issue.
So you go back in time to fix your future, but you don't fix your future. You fix somebody else's future.
Yep. This is the second Colin Bunn first issue I got. This, and I got this one. I remember deciding whether to pre-order it or not, and I decided not to. But then I saw it on the shelf and saw this cover and was like, "Oh, I like that cover. I like the eyes staring at me through the screen there." So I ended up buying it. It's Colin Bunn, illustrated by someone named Aneke, Aneke, only one name. Colored by Patricia Martin, lettered by And World Design. And it's got some pretty nice artwork. And the story is about this woman here who's an American. I think she's ex-military. As you can see, she's pretty big. And she's going to the Australian outback to try and track down her missing sister. And there wasn't much to it, except she's tracking down her missing sister. Of course, she runs into a sleazy tavern owner and some bikers. And then she ends up in a fist fight with 3 bikers and somehow wins, even getting stabbed in the back. And then it ends with her passing out, kind of. And it was just like, oh, okay.
Why is everything the same color?
Because the colorist wasn't paid that much. Oh, it's supposed to be nighttime.
Okay.
I guess that's the nighttime color. So this all takes place in the desert out in the nighttime. So I guess magenta is that color. Because in the daytime it's a different magenta. It's a red sky. Listen, there was nothing wrong with it. I can't remember who said it. I can't remember if I said it first or someone else did. It's been so long. But someone said sometimes first issues are like the first 10 minutes of a TV show. And you're like, okay, that set up what? And it's like, you don't have the other, 32 minutes without commercials of the TV show to get into the meat of it. You're just kind of like, it was just kind of, all right. We set up that she's looking for her sister and she's tough and she can beat 3 bikers yet still pass out and lose at the end. What's going to happen to her? I don't really care. And it wasn't bad. There was just not enough of a hook for me. Sort of like the Autumn Kingdom. Neither one was particularly bad. There just wasn't enough there in a first issue to get me hooked. Which means they might be writing for the trade, so you never know.
That's a possibility, yeah.
But as a first, and I think sometimes that's like it's one of those things where the creators don't think enough about the person buying the first issue because they know everything that's going to happen. But us first issue readers are just like, okay. I don't really care what's next. It didn't make me care in this first issue too much.
That there's nobody around that thinks of these as periodicals.
If the creator doesn't think that way, you're right. Because sometimes the creators themselves think of it as periodicals. That's when it gets to be. But if you're right, if there's no one around thinking about them as periodicals, who knows?
Right, because if it's written like a chapter of the book,
Yeah.
and but even then, I mean, like Mickey Spillane said, the first chapter sells the book.
Mm-hmm.
And if the first chapter is not compelling,
Right.
Even if they are writing for the trade, if the first issue is not compelling, what's the point of sticking around? Which brings us back to your idea that that you're not going to try out a trade paperback. You're going to try out a #1 issue.
Right. Right. I've only lost $5 in this much space, and I'll probably keep this one just for its cover. I do like that cover. Oh, and there's wolves in the desert for some reason threatening her.
Oh, you can slab it.
I can slab it. There we go.
It is a nice cover.
Yeah, it's a nice cover. That's the cover is what sold it to me after I decided not to buy it in pre-order. They had one there. I was like, you know what? I'll buy this. That and the fact that I only had 5 books, so why not?
Mm-hmm.
Why not?
Cullen Bunn's been around for a while, but
he has.
But there's nothing that people say, man, this is the best Cullen Bunn ever.
There used to be, back when he was writing for DC, I used to see a lot more Cullen Bunn fans on YouTube. But I think he wards welcome somehow. I don't think he's working for DC as much. I think he's doing indie books, and the people who liked him at DC maybe don't buy as many indie books. I don't know. But I definitely used to hear his. Matter of fact, I heard his name all the time before I read anything by him because I don't buy DC books much. So I don't know what happened. I can't even remember what he wrote at DC.
He's done a lot of at Marvel. He did a lot of Deadpool stuff.
Okay.
And yeah, sure. I'm looking over his bibliography, and everything here sounds pretty much run of the mill. A lot of Venom here. Yeah, I think that's what got him famous. Made him famous was Venom.
Venom. All right.
Fearless Defenders, the Magneto ongoing.
I remember that when that Magneto book was hot for a brief moment.
And they did and then he did Sinestro. And Lobo. Earth 2 Worlds End. Do I have this? I think I have this. Earth 2 Worlds End. Aquaman, Greenland, yeah. And he did The Shadow and an Army of Darkness. And the Battlestar Galactica. Okay. Yeah, he wrote. Harrow County was published here, and he did come.
Oh, that's right.
He did come here once over it.
Harrow County was his hot indie book. I remember that now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know, I was never interested in it.
I bought the Carla Speed McNeil drawn issues. I remember that.
Because the publisher that had the rights to Harrow County, they were trying to build up a library of their favorite writers. But then no more stuff from Cullen Bunn came out. Also, the editor was a big fan of Chew, and I could never understand why.
Yeah, I didn't get Chew.
Yeah, I think the Brubaker stuff sold better. And maybe the Jeff Lemire stuff, which I didn't get. I tried getting into Jeff Lemire, and I just don't see the appeal.
Yeah, I've read some of his stuff, and it doesn't really grab me. I read Royal City. Didn't do it for me. I think I gave that one away to one of my students, Royal City. I won it in a contest on YouTube somehow. And I read it. It was all right. And I gave it away.
Speaking of guys that came here and I didn't pay, and I didn't care, my LCS is for some reason bringing Bob Layton this weekend.
Okay. Just go meet Bob Layton. Why not?
Yeah, sure. And yeah, he said he's not going to do sketches because it takes too long and he wants to talk to people.
Right.
I guess he wants to be paid attention to.
Yeah.
He probably has
He's
some
not a
interesting
young
stories.
man either.
Yeah, he probably has some interesting stories from
Yeah.
not only from the Valiant era,
Right.
and of
There's
course,
Marvel era too.
yeah.
With Iron Man.
Mhm. I would like to ask him about Star Hunters because I've seen Star Hunters art, but I've never read it, but it looks compelling to me.
Is
It's
that
just
DC book?
yeah. There was one of the a one shot special inside some anthology, and then a 7-issue series.
I remember liking some of that. I think I had some of that years ago. I remember enjoying it. It wasn't your typical DC book.
Right. You can't fix or break your past because it's locked. That's the point.
Locked.
Multiple timelines. There's the simplest, most logical way to write a time travel story. If you want to label logic as lazy, then you understand. No, because here's the idea: if you just create multiple timelines, then time traveling is useless because it doesn't save your personal future. You go back to your own timeline, which is still shitty. Or there's no consequence. You go back in time and you can shoot everybody because for fun, and it doesn't matter because it doesn't hurt the people you know, and you just create new timelines. So
I'll
there's no
take it a step even further. If going back in time and changing something creates multiple timelines, that means that all time exists at once. And therefore, all timelines already exist at once. And you're not creating multiple timelines at all. You're just going through the timelines that already exist. And there are no actual choices. Because once a time machine is created, and that means that time isn't just now, that means all of time already exists. And the time machine you just created has been created forever. It already exists because that time already exists. That means everybody everywhere has time machines that have already been created. It's kind of crazy. None of it makes any sense. Want to show us another comic, Wilson?
Sure. So the Godzilla Infinity War, again, was a #1 issue.
Yep.
The next #1 issue I picked up.
Lots of #1 issues between us this week.
Yes. So I have two #1s, but they're the same books. It's just alternate covers.
Ooh.
So we have Thundar the Barbarian.
That's the one you colored?
That's the one that I did one of the covers in.
Okay.
So yes, it's not this particular one.
Yep.
If we go to the back of the book and find the 3 pages of alternate covers. Here is page 1. These are the alternate covers on the first page. And then the first and second page. And then the third page, you'll find the alternate cover is the very last one in this gallery. And that's the cover that I did. They're showing it twice because one of them has the logo and one of them doesn't. It is supposed to be exclusive to Dynamite.com. So I've seen it on their Dynamite's Whatnot page, and I also saw it on their eBay page. So they are available through the internet. So I don't know if they were like just internet exclusives or how they set it up. But the eBay one, you could buy both covers for $35 in total. And they through the Whatnot event, I guess you could call it. So Mariana was there doing sketches on the cover, so he's going to send that to the inker to ink, and then I'll get it to color. So we're going to do some basically some sketch covers for the people who had bought it online. So so there'll be more work coming in for at least the blank covers. I just happen to buy a blank cover for myself to eventually draw, but it'll probably end up in my boxes of blank covers that I'll eventually get to.
Well, you should draw an AIM agent.
A what?
An AIM agent.
An AIM agent. There you go. We'll toss them in there somewhere. So I'll sneak one in somewhere. So I'm happy that those are out. The interior of the book, the art looks good. Even this there's a beautiful black and white piece on the front.
Who's doing the book?
So the book itself, let's see, is written by Jason Aaron. Colorist is George Sittel. This particular cover, which is like the regular cover, is Mike Cho. The interior artist is Nuber Balau, Baal, Ball. Tony Exposito, sorry, Taylor Exposito is the letterer. And so that's the group of people that's working on it. The artwork, let's get some pages in there. The artwork looks pretty good. It looks like Sundar. A little more coloring in there. Some nice effects on the ice there. So this story is it continues from the cartoon because they already been on their not mission, but they've been running around the destroyed ruins of Earth. And in there, Ariel mentioned something about they've been doing this for a while. So this jumps into the story in the middle of it. Nice giant monster. So it looks like a lot of fun. Just a continuation of what's been going on before. Here's all three of them together. Ukla, Ariel, and Sundar. These rat creatures have been shown before, so they're bringing back characters. The original series the cartoon only ran a few episodes. I forget the count of the episodes, maybe under 20 episodes altogether, but it was on syndication on repeats a lot. So it feels like there's a ton of episodes, but it was one of those shows that did well in repeats, and I think it just came out at the wrong time. Because a year later or a couple of years later, He-Man became the biggest thing. And it's very similar in the sense of sword and sorcery plus a magic, but technology was there too. Plus, there's a blonde guy running around with a sword. So there is something that, the basis was there for something really popular, but it just might have been a little too early. Plus, it ran into a lot of censor stuff that they just had some problems with it. And they kept changing the time slot. So it didn't really have a chance to build an audience. But people who enjoyed that show enjoyed it fondly.
Yeah, I remember kids, and I didn't see it, but I remember kids, and I think it was junior high, maybe, really liked it. I forget which. I just remember a lot of people liking it.
And I always liked it, but it was missing. It didn't have a toy line. It didn't really get to.
It was before the age of toy lines for every cartoon.
Exactly, but you got designs by Jack Kirby. You got the cartoon designs by Alex Toth. A lot of the writers were comic book writers, so there was, it had a chance to be something big, and unfortunately, it just didn't become any bigger than what it was. There are more merchandise for it now, I believe, than it was back then.
And the letterer Taylor Exposito is a former Marvel bullpenner. couple of years after my time, though. So I think
okay.
I worked on a couple projects with him, with either Bad Idea or somebody in the last 5 years, maybe, but never actually met him.
Oh, okay.
Wouldn't
I'm Facebook friends with him.
wouldn't the Kirby pastiche artist work better on this one?
There maybe, but again, who knows what decisions that they made? I mean, a lot of the covers, a lot of those alternate covers, is being done to give it that Kirby kind of feel. Even the street he's on, he's on Kirby Street. So there's
Okay. Look on the
still,
sign there.
yeah, on the sign. So there's still, the Kirby element there, and many of the covers have a Kirby-like motif to
Just
it.
not the interior art.
Just not the interior artwork. Because there's quite a few covers. Also, each cover maybe has like a second or third design. So it's like the pencils of the covers, the inks of the covers. So even though there's a bunch of covers, it's really maybe a handful of actual images done a few times. There's even a Kirby cover from the designs. I don't know if that's going to come in clear.
Okay.
So there is a Kirby cover.
Style sheets.
From the style sheets. So other than that, I don't know who to get to do the interiors. That's more Kirby related. I do like the artwork. It doesn't scream Kirby at all, but I do enjoy the way it looks. A lot of ads. All right, here's a page. But I think the other thing too is that, what Kirby-ish artist can get that can do a fairly good Kirby? Because there's a ton of people out there who think they're doing Kirby, but it's not coming out as well. So for me, I'm perfectly fine with this art style. I think it has just enough to look animated without looking overly animated.
Right.
Sure. Yeah.
So, but
Under.
it's very Kirby in there, even with the Kirby dots in the background. The Statue of Liberty kind of has that hint of Commandy on there, and even some close-up heads on the bottom. So it probably would have been really cool for this guy to do the interior artwork. But again, who knows what they, when they made the decision they made.
Oh, I have to show you this dumb thing.
Ooh, what you got?
Here's the story. I got it like 2 months ago, and I keep forgetting to show you. I was looking for hero clicks one night on eBay. I used to play the game back in the early 2000s. For those of you who don't know, Hero Clicks is this miniature game that they made superheroes for. That is like you roll dice and you battle with the superheroes. For whatever reason, I was feeling nostalgic, so I was looking them up on eBay. And I found some guy who takes the hero clicks and paints them so they're naked. What? It's just the dumbest thing ever, okay? So, the one that made me crack up the most was Stiltman Woman. There's a Stiltman Woman now. You know the villain Stiltman? Well, there's a female version of him called Stiltman Woman.
Okay.
And I was like, and I just cracked up, but it was $20. I'm like, you know what? I got acrylic paint. So I bought a regular Stiltman Woman for $6 and then painted her naked myself. So that is a hero click of naked Stiltman Woman.
Amazing.
And that's been sitting on my desk for the last couple of months. I keep forgetting to show it to you guys. How nutty is that? But that's all it is. Like, there's not even any like skill to the painting because it's so small, and it's just like, I just got to get that naked color in there. But I've had Stiltman woman naked sitting on my desk for a while, and she actually comes off her pegs too. So, she's taller than a normal Hero Clicks.
Yeah, that base is bigger than the Hero Click bases that I'm used to.
They're about the same. They're maybe slightly thicker, but they're about the same as they always were.
Yeah, I still got a whole bunch of those Hero Clicks from Marvel because we were able to buy them at cost, and I had bought like a big box of them, like this just big grouping of them with foam, and it's like, oh, this is cool. I stuck it in the closet and never looked at it again. And
we used to play at lunchtime all the time.
Yeah,
me and Dave and Jacob. Who else played with us? There's at least one other. Did Julio? No, Julio didn't play with us. Oh, I can't remember. It's been so long.
Yeah, I never got into the game itself. I just liked the figures.
Yeah.
So I had gotten a bunch of them, and then one day I was like, all right, this is done. This was fun to buy, but I'm not buying anymore. But I still have the original ones that I had. And because it was the ones from Marvel, it's like I still have like gold and silver ones that were like little alternate type ones.
Yeah, if it wasn't for being at Marvel, I'd have no one to play the game with. So that's what we used to do. Same with Magic. Once I left Marvel, it was like no one to play Hero Clicks and Magic with anymore. Oh well.
Okay, now we have 2 Canadians watching. Hello.
All right.
Hello, Terrence.
Hello.
Hello there. Another book I read this week, which turned out was old, is this one, Andy Watson and Simon Gain doing Paris. And Andy Watson, I know he is a cartoonist on his own. He did something called, was it Monday Morning Breakfast or something, where I first bought. He's done some Oni Press stuff. So I didn't realize he was also wrote for. And Simon Gain, I know him from a miniseries I bought a couple of years ago. Something about a Japanese ghost story. I can't for the life of me remember the name of what he did. But this is like I said, Simon Gain artwork. And like the first 12 pages are even these end papers with these beautiful street views of Paris. And just really nice setting and then the rest of the book, of course, takes place in Paris. And it's got this sort of rich artwork where he's really trying to capture the mood of Paris. A little bit of nudity for you. And it's just sort of this love story, I guess, between this she was American, right? Who moved to Paris. And she's just a regular poor person. And she eventually meets this rich girl. Oh, she's an art student. That's right. She's studying art at the Salon in Paris, the Academy in Paris. So she ends up having to paint this rich girl and her cranky aunt. And of course, she's living the poor artist life in Paris. And she and the girl go to the museum together, but then they get broken up. And the rich girl has to get married, sort of thing. Then things happen years later, but it's really nice story. I enjoyed this thoroughly. I especially like the Simon Gain artwork. Like that, it's just so rich with his detail and little, drawings of the streets and cars and things. A fairy tale romance set in the streets of 1950s Paris. So it's 1950s Paris even. Even ends. This was a library edition, so I took most of the stickers out, but not all of them. But this came out in this. Where's the actual indicia here for this book? It's in the back, I think. Nope, it's in the front. This came out, I think, in 2022. There we go. First printing May 2022, but it was actually printed in a couple of issues before that somewhere. I can't remember, but like they were actually printed as single issues somewhere. Originally, the original book cover published by Slave Labor Graphics in 2007. So this is something I didn't know existed. Let's see, there's a little biography in the back. Let's see if we can find out who these guys are. Parrot, Andy Watson. Other books include The Book Tour from Top Shelf. I've read that one. That one's good. Kerry and the Knights of the Forest from Random House Graphic. Glister from Dark Horse. Don't know those. The forthcoming Punnycorn from Claiborne. And the next collaboration with Simon and Image Comics titled Sunburn. I just ordered that one. Simon Gain, They're Not Like Us, Godzilla, and Ghost Tree. Ghost Tree is the one I couldn't remember the name. Ghost Tree is Good by Simon Gain. That's the Japanese ghost story. But really, really enjoyed this thoroughly. Looking forward to reading it again. And it was like $9 for a library edition on eBay. So
I went and checked if there was a French edition because the story set in Paris, and there is one. But they changed the title. It's called Bohemian in Paris.
Bohemian in Paris. Okay. It's good. Like I said, I really enjoyed that one. The art was terrific. And I've got Sunburn coming. That was like $6 on eBay. So I'm like, all right. The books are cheap because I've avoided, as I said last week, I'm avoiding buying more comics and books just now because I got too many of them. I read some of them, get rid of them.
There's a few Andy Watson books that were published in France, actually. Ruptures. And what's this?
And it's funny because originally he spells Andy with an I, which made me think he was a woman at first.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not a woman, he's just British.
Actually, the British are less likely to do alternate spellings.
Yeah.
Although there are a few. I was looking at 1950s British racing drivers, and I found a Lawrence with a U.
Huh.
Yeah, he seems to be popular in other countries.
Yeah,
which is understandable. If you want to make, if you're an American comic book author and you want to make money, you have to be an indie creator and get your graphic novel published somewhere else. You'll make more money that way.
Breakfast Monday Morning. Was that the name of Andy Watson's book? That was the one that was about a guy who, once again, just living. It's kind of a slice of life book. A guy living in London, and he painted ceramics for a living. I remember that.
Breakfast Afternoon.
Breakfast Afternoon. That's it.
Yeah.
Breakfast Afternoon. That was that was the first Andy Watson thing I ever saw and read. That was a while ago now. Wow.
Yeah, I think you showed that one once.
Yeah, it came out from Oni a while ago. I don't remember. Mm-hmm. I may have had it out as one of my top of the printer books too.
Yeah, the design for the original series is actually quite interesting.
Yeah,
because it's the same layout in different colors, and each cover is one color. 6 issues, and then the trade paperback is a different color. And the French edition is a whole new color, a whole new cover.
And it's one of those like the atmosphere that Simon Gain sets is just adds to the story so much. Mm-hmm. Just that whole feel of Paris in the 1950s. He does a good job with. which isn't always easy.
Yeah, after World War II, Paris kind of lost its brilliance among the American artists.
Everything moved to New York in the 50s.
Yeah, right. Because there were a lot of Americans living in Paris before World War II, because Paris was the place to be.
It was the center of the art world.
Yeah, and the prohibition kind of made a few people want to move just so they could party, because of course you could actually get booze if you wanted in the States, but it's different if you can do it out in the open in the street.
Paris was just the most cosmopolitan city in the world in the 30s. Well, Berlin was too, but Paris there was Nazis there, so people were moving out.
The
20s in Paris.
Stuff up.
Or you could live in Casablanca. Nobody wanted to live in Spain back then, or Italy. Italy was a good place to visit, but people didn't actually want to live there.
There's also the Spanish Civil War going on in the 30s.
Yeah,
right?
Definitely. Yeah.
That was a problem. Mm-hmm. If you went to Spain in the 30s, you were fighting in a war, so that's why you went there. Want to show us another comic, Wilson?
Sure.
What do you got there?
So the next book that I have is Godzilla #7, which really should have been a glow-in-the-dark cover.
Oh, yeah. That looks like it almost is.
But it almost looks like it does. I don't know what's going on in here, but it's made up to issue 7.
Who drew that cover?
Person's signature is unreadable, so we'll go on the inside.
Always make your signature readable. That's key.
This doesn't specify in the front.
Maybe in the back.
Maybe it's in the back. All right, because this book has 4 covers.
Only 4?
Art by, as far as I could tell,
wow,
the cover gallery only has 4.
Wow.
4 images on there. Let me make sure I didn't miss a page. No, it looks like those are it. So this one, conservative. So it's 4 covers. And this particular cover art is by Jonathan Irby, Uribe, Irby. And the color is by Juan Fernandez. The text is so tiny.
Don't think I've heard of them. But nice cover.
Very nice cover.
Good Godzilla face.
And let's see if that's the same credit for the interior. No, the art is different. The artist is different on the interior. Interior artists are Henry Bassetti, and the colors is Francisco Sigala. Oh, and they even give the colorist assistant their name in there too, Gloria Montanelli. Lettering by Nathan Wydick. Editor is Jake Williams. And here are some pages.
Comic Crack asks, has it been a good series, Wilson? Have you read any of them?
I have not read many of them at all. I have skipped through them, and I've enjoyed the artwork that I've seen in it.
He hasn't actually sat down and read.
But I haven't actually sat there and read them. I was putting some books away, and as you can see, is I have this whole stack here. These are all new boxes of the books that are basically my to-read pile or my to-read boxes. So I have not. Ooh, here's a nice shot showing low to Godzilla. I've peeked into it every once in a while, and the little bit that I've read, I've enjoyed. So most of the other stuff I've been enjoying. Funny enough, I did get to read a comic book this week that wasn't Godzilla, but is from IDW. I read the first issue of their Star Trek book called The Last Starship. That in the in the TV series Discovery, an event called the Burn happened where all the dilithium crystals across the Star Trek universe all was affected by something and exploded. So any ship that was running currently on the ship exploded, and this all happened simultaneously across the universe.
Wow.
So that event pretty much destroyed 80% of Starfleet's ships. That series takes place about 800 years in the future from the regular Star Trek universe type of stuff. So through that course of that story is like, how do we rebuild? They basically found whatever parts they could find and build a new starship. And terrible logo, by the way, for the book, because it's supposed to be the last starship, but the way they wrote it, one, interesting in the sense of they took a piece of artwork from every logo to make it, because it's putting it together. That is cute in its way and design, but you can't really read starship correctly, just the way the logo design was. So in that story, it's whatever's left over of Starfleet. They put a ship together, and then they go out into space to try to find out what happened. And again, very few people left. 80% of Starfleet is gone, so they're trying to rebuild from there. And it's an interesting story, considering it's one of those that starts with a doomsday scenario and then go on from there. So I found that to be a fun read. I have, I think, 4 issues, but I've refound the first issue. It's like, okay, I got it. Let me read this. And then as I'm going through these books, I'll continue to read them. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to switch my days of going to the comic book shop. Instead of Friday, is to try to go on Wednesday. So at least I have time to read some of it for our Friday night review. Has not happened or worked yet, but I'm trying to read the comics as we go along.
That's the plan.
That's the plan. And we know how well plans work.
Yes. Another number one I got from Dark Horse, Night City, Matt Kint and David Lapham. And this one, script and colors, Matt Kint, David Lapham art, Josh Reed letters. So I guess Matt Kint is watercoloring this one. I know he watercolors on physical paper. This one is kind of a takeoff on Superman and Lex Luthor. And it was really interesting. I enjoyed this one a lot. It starts out with this guy here, the Knight. How many battles have we had? So many times. So whoever this guy is, the Knight, is our Superman character. And he's fighting this super rich guy in his super suit who's Lex Luthor, basically. And he kind of like is starting to get really mad that they kind of always fight. So he almost kills him. He like starts squeezing his head and really wants to kill him, but doesn't. Because it turns out he gets his power from people's belief in him. He's like, oh, I can't let the people down. And then it takes a switch till, he can't turn off his super hearing. So he's always constantly hearing people in trouble. So he goes to his fortress of solitude, which is in the Antarctic and the Arctic, wherever it is. Antarctic, because there's penguins. And sleeps like way down. It's the only time he can sleep. And then he wakes up and we find out it's just a guy dreaming he's a superhero. And then then you're like, I wonder if we're going to find out Superman is dreaming he's a normal guy. which we kind of do. And Lex Luthor is figuring out how to kill him in his dream. So it gets really meta in here. But I liked the first issue, very intriguing. Two of my favorite creators, so I'm going to stick with this one. Enjoy. But this is a first issue that gave you a lot to think about. Gave you a lot to think about what's really going on and what's really happening, and it was fun. But I definitely would recommend Night City by Kent and Lapham. Good stuff.
So it's the first issue that was thought of as a proper periodical.
Right. Like it's a proper first issue periodical. Lots of twists and turns. You want to know what happens next. Good things in it. Not just, that's what it is too. A lot of times when like in Riptide, when you've got tough characters who play everything close to the vest, they don't give the reader anything too. So the reader has nothing to hang their hat on. The strong silent type doesn't give you anything. It's like I remember someone describing televised poker before the lipstick cameras that could see their cards. They'd go, before the lipstick cameras were invented that could see the poker players' cards, it was a terrible TV show. Because all these poker players, their whole demeanor is to not give anything away. So if you, the viewer, don't know what the cards are, it's really boring because all the characters at the table are not giving anything away. And that's what the strong, silent type first issue characters are like. It's like they're not giving anything away. So it's like, don't care about them.
Right.
Do you want to take a look at the latest issue of Eclipse magazine?
Sure.
What do we got here? We're getting near the end. We're up to issue 7. I think there's only 9. Issue 7 of Eclipse magazine. Who does this cover? John Bolton. And in this issue, we have the first Masked Man by B.C. Boyer. The Fate of Charity Hope by Sean Carroll. Dope by Trina Robbins, Chapter 6. The Twin in the Doorway by Don McGregor and Tom Sutton. The Underground Lighthouse by Hunt Emerson. An Autobiography by Kevin Brown. I Am Coyote Captain by Englehart and Rogers, Chapter 6. But Masked Man by B.C. Boyer, which it turns out he, as Dean Mullaney says in the editorial, he met him at a con and liked his work and said, hey, turn this into a comic. And those reminiscent of Will Eisner's The Spirit. It's just a guy who puts on a mask and fights crime. B.C. Boyer did not know Spirit and Will Eisner. And this went on to be in Eclipse Monthly and then in its own series for a little while, which I have. Fate of Charity Hope. So it's just our first chapter of The Masked Man. And this is just a weird story, sort of underground-ish, about a guy being taken advantage of by a woman. So this is a bitter, twisted dude story. Then, of course, we've got Trina Robbins doing Dope by Sax Rohmer, which is excellent. I'm very much enjoying this story. It takes place in the 1920s in London with a bunch of people who are hooked on dope. Let's see, this one's weird. This is McGregor and Sutton. There's a little slice of life story. I think this is about a couple of guys trying to talk to a woman. Couple of guys trying to talk to a woman, but then she blows up. Well, I guess this would be another bitter, twisted dude story. And it turns out that they're high school kids. And the woman played a prank on him or something. Then we've got here's a weird story. This is Hunt Emerson, The Underground Lighthouse. Takes place in World War II with the English trying to figure out what the Nazis are inventing, and they think they're inventing an underground lighthouse. And there's funny animals in it. And it's just sort of a weird above ground, underground story. There's the underground lighthouse. That's a nice little comedy story. Goes on for quite a few pages. A quick changing neighborhood story by who's this? Kevin Brown, whoever that is. And then we end with I Am Coyote by Marshall Rogers and Steve Englehart, where the story's making more sense. It's now an actual story. It seemed like they didn't know what they were doing in the beginning. They give you some nudity too. But overall, a good issue. And what was interesting too was I was a fan of the masked BC Boyer's Masked Man when this came out. Because like I said, it continued in Eclipse Monthly, which I bought. And then there was a few issues of the Masked Man series itself, which I bought. But then BC Boyer didn't do anything. He never went on to do any more comics until the 90s, which I forgot. I was actually looking him up. I'm like, whatever happened to BC Boyer? Turns out he died in 2023, so not too long ago. I think his father was a famous Disney artist of some kind. And I think he went on to be a Disney artist to work at Disney too. But he also I'd forgotten this. I remember this from the 90s, but I could never track it down. He did a series in the 90s called Hilly Rose. Hilly Rose. And I remember always saying to myself, oh, I should track that down someday because I liked his Masked Man, but I never did. I think it came out in 96. But I just went and looked at it again. I'll probably get it sometime in the future. But the covers are very different artwork because it's 10, 12 years later. But the covers look a lot more like Dave Stevens or early Frank Frazetta comic book work. I was like, I'll have to get those too, one of these. But it's funny. There's someone whose comics you bought in the early 80s and never, saw him again. And then you find out he died. It's kind of like,
yeah.
He died just a few years ago.
Kyling's here. What's up, Kyle? He likes your Eclipse. We've been showing them every week. On both of our channels. Yeah. Englehart and Rogers. Yeah, they
did some good stuff.
Exactly. And Coyote's kind of disappeared, right? Nobody's thought about it for a while.
That Marvel put out a collection of it, I think, or even who put out a collection of it? Was it Image? Well, they're sleepy.
What's the thing?
Someone put a collection of it 15 years ago.
Donald Rex is going on a live stream with Garage Geek tomorrow. All right. I'll try to catch it 4 Pacific. That's midnight for me. Yeah, I think I can watch it.
Mm-hmm. But it really is a good November 1982. It really is nice reading these old ones after all these years. Like I said, I haven't read it since November 1982. So.
Yeah, a few series launched there. So, Mystery had started there before spinning off, and Coyote 2. Those stories were later collected.
Epic did Epic printed I Am Coyote too.
Yeah,
there's a series from them.
Yeah, and only Trina Robbins is
Dope. That appeared in
because it
is collected now, right?
But it is collected now, but it wasn't completed at the time.
No. And Masked Man, I don't think Masked Man was ever collected, but it had its own series for a little while.
I guess one of these may have collected the material from
the
magazine.
I'll have to look.
Iggy Pop is here. What's up, man?
Hello there.
Hello.
was really fun revisiting these. I might get the collected copy of Trina Robbins' Dope once I'm back to buying some stuff.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to have a Sex Romer property on comic that's not related to Kung Fu.
Yeah.
I actually don't know what Dope is about.
Dope is about, it takes place in the 1920s. And it's about, it's like all these high society people. And they're in London. And there's one woman who's our main character who gets hooked on dope. So she's got like her other high society friends, and one of them like hooks it, and they're all going to the opium den in London and smoking dope, and they're doing cocaine. And she was originally a cocaine user, but she wanted to try on dope. And now she ended up getting married to this other rich guy. She's like this young, desirable woman who married this older guy, and now he wants to get her off dope. So I think it's a cautionary tale. But it's really elegantly done by Trina Robbins.
Yeah, I think Sex Romer was one of the main points of contention with the concept of yellow peril was that China was where opium came from. So.
That's definitely yellow peril in it, because the Madam Sin, who runs the opium den, is Chinese, and so is her husband. So when they go to the opium den, it's a Chinese opium den. So, but it's definitely good.
So it's a recurring motif in Sex Romer's work.
Yeah. The opium den.
Sex Romer died in 1950, I think. Yeah, I think everything he did it, or was it 1959? Sex Romer died in 1959, so still not in public domain in Europe. Although I think the Fu Manchu novels are in the public domain in the U.S.
Yeah, I would think so. Everything before was 1930.
So Marvel should be able to start reprinting the Master
of
Kung
have.
Fu.
They have. They put omnibuses out.
No, but they stopped. They had to stop. They had to stop publishing the Epic collections, because the third one was supposed to come out, but they didn't renew the
license.
Yeah.
I know they have them out so I guess the omnibuses are the only place you can get them then. So I think there's at least 2 or 3 omnibuses. I don't remember.
Right.
I've got number 2, I think, because I got it super cheap. Super cheap.
Okay, Daughter of Fu Manchu is still not in the public domain, but it goes into the public domain next year. So that should get Follow Sui available. But a lot of so the Mystery of Dr. Fu Manchu is in the public domain. The Devil Doctor is in the public domain. The Sif and Mysteries in the public domain. Pretty much everything that's relevant except for Follow Sui is in the public domain. So yeah, I don't even understand now if somebody still has a Fu Manchu trademark. It should really matter, because Fu Manchu does not have to appear in the covers.
Yeah. Huh. I don't know how it works.
Yeah, Kyle bought 2 copies of the 1914 novelization of Tarzan of the Apes plus 9. Oh, nice. That's a nice collection.
Tarzan. Want to see the first issue I got?
Sure.
Half dwarf, half orc, all dork. By Brett Bean. There's the back cover.
Logo Todd Klein had featured that logo. Like,
I think who did the lettering on this? Nate Picos featured it because I think he said he lettered this on the boards, and he hand lettered that logo.
All right.
I think I saw him, but it's the story of this half dwarf, half orc who's something that shouldn't have to exist because half of this world is orc and half is dwarf, and they're mortal enemies. And there was a prophecy. There was a prophecy that said the half dwarf, half orc will, rise and he'll destroy the world. So this guy's been in hiding for 20 years. So he's like 20 years old. He finally comes out, and everybody wants to kill him. So it's sort of a light-hearted comedy sort of thing with some action in it. They're all out to get him. Dorks unite. And I was trying to, you know what? I was kind of like, it's okay. I kind of like it, but it didn't really grab me. But I was like, what would my comp for it be? What would I say was closest to? And I would have to think something like Bone. And then I thought to myself, you know what? If I had just read the first issue of Bone, which I didn't, I didn't read Bone till issue like 25. I'm like maybe I should give Dork a little time. So I might buy another couple issues of Dork.
Yeah, I guess right now there's nothing quite like it in the direct market.
Yeah.
But maybe that'll be a good series in collected form to
and once it gets going, like this seems like one, it could be good once it gets going. So maybe I'll give it a little chance to get going. I mean, the art was fun. The story wasn't particularly sophisticated, but it was just kind of an intro, just kind of a, hey, let's set up a world building, if you will. And
looks like looks a little bit like a Disney cartoon from the 90s.
Yeah. So I might give this one a couple more issues. Because it was a fun issue.
We kind of need material like that around. I know there's Dogman and stuff like that in the mainstream markets, but something should people who are doing stuff in the direct market should come up with things like that can appeal to a more general audience. And that looks like it is.
It's like a fantasy type of thing that has humor to it.
Yeah.
So you could see that it'd be fun.
One must be patient with their dork. Don't forget to feed your dork.
Dork. There is no dark side of the moon. Matter of fact, it's all dark.
They should have a series introducing Dork's evil twin brother, Dork Side. Actually, isn't that sort of what happens in Ambush Bug? There's the Dark Side working at McDonald's or something.
I don't think I actually read all of Ambush Bug. I know I had a few issues, but
I read 2 miniseries of Ambush Bugs, but that was in the 80s, so it's been a long time.
Yeah.
It's one I've meant to revisit, but never have.
HBO's late night series, After Dark.
Dun, dun, dun. You have another comic for us, Wilson?
Yes, my last comic in the group is Amazing Spider-Man issue number 21, John Romita Jr. cover with Scott Hanna inking it. You could say if the cover where Spider-Man looks beat up, which is many of the John Romita Jr. covers. He does a well grizzled Spidey. I can't tell you what's going on in this book. Spidey does have a I think a different costume, or this is just the. Oh, they're introducing other Spider-Mans, and it looks like one of them
More
was just
Spider-Mans?
more Spider-Mans because Marvel
There's
doesn't
not
want
enough.
you to confuse Spider-Man with another company, but they'll make enough of them to be confusing themselves. So it looks like the Hobgoblin's in this, and there's a lot of nice John Romita Jr. debris and smoke in the issue. But unfortunately, I couldn't tell you what's going on. Oh, looks like just spotted a couple of ads. So Generation X is coming back, although it's
This time they're old.
Well, actually, if you read the logo, it's Generation X23.
Yes. So everybody's at X23.
I guess so.
That's
Clones
her.
galore.
Yeah,
It's
that's
all
Laura's
about the clones because that works so
Laura's
well with
sidekick.
Spider-Man.
What's Laura's sidekick's name?
Oh, I have no idea. I didn't even know Laura had a sidekick.
Yeah, it's
Wasn't
the
she
other
the
girl.
sidekick?
I thought she was the sidekick. Just trying to find more pages to showcase the art.
Too many ads.
There's a lot of ads, and a lot of them are house ads, which always make me chuckle a little bit because chances are, if you're already reading the books, you already know that other book's coming out.
Yeah.
But Moonstar,
Shadows of Tomorrow. Moonstar, was she one of the New Mutants?
she was one of the founding members of the New Mutants.
I have a vague memory of her. What were her powers?
She can reach into your mind and make a hologram of your greatest fear. Then her powers were enhanced accidentally, and she couldn't. The manifestations became solid. It could actually hurt you.
What if your greatest fear was like going to the toilet in public? How does that manifest?
A giant toilet in the middle of the
and you really gotta go.
The middle of the street, maybe.
Yeah. She also has Valkyrie powers.
Oh, that's right, because she when they went to Asgard, and for a while she went under the name Valkyrie for a short time as well.
Yeah, there was a point where she was a SHIELD agent that didn't last too long because she never joined X-Force, not for real.
Right.
So, but every once in a while they brought her back because she used to be a fan favorite.
Mm-hmm.
See you. Thanks for stopping by, Kyle.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Good to see you. I
think that's all the books that I picked up. Checking. Oh, okay, yeah. One of them is the it's their catalog. So I thought
Dynamite Dispatches, Thundercats and Silverhawks, Battle of the Century.
Doing a crossover because they are in the same universe. They just never did an official crossover.
Yeah, a crossover between the awesome characters and the lame knockoffs. Seriously, I could never get into Silverhawks. They didn't seem to have personalities in the same way that the Thundercats did. I guess it's because the bad guy was a casino boss.
Yeah, they really went for the police in space type of thing.
Another thing I got to read today.
And the Copper Kid in particular was annoying. More annoying than Snarf, if that was possible.
Yeah, they were trying to copy from Gotcha Man, where where Keop didn't speak English.
They were both, but they were both Rankin Bass productions, so they probably thought, well, if we could do it once, we could do it again.
Yeah.
Didn't quite work.
Another thing I got to read today that was really good. Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips, The Knives. This is part of their criminal series, which is soon to be a TV show. Sean Phillips is Jacob Phillips, his son, on colors on this one. The occasional roommate, broken up into chapters. And this was just really, really good. It's longer than their usual graphic novel, too. They even mentioned that. How many pages is this? Of course, it's a comic. It doesn't give you page numbers.
Of course.
But I don't know, 150 pages. Who knows? I have to look it up on Amazon to see how many pages it is. But his criminal stuff usually has a rotating cast of characters in different time periods. And this is the first time they bring us up to the current time period. He did one a couple years ago called Bad Weekend. That was one of his comic book related ones. Well, one of his only comic book related ones. And Bad Weekend was about this old I think it took place in maybe the early 90s or something. This old grizzled comic book pro who kind of reminded me of Gil Kane. I don't know if he was supposed to or not. I don't remember that. But who just hired a new young assistant who was like in his early 20s. But like all the criminal stuff is about criminals. And the reason that he hired this young assistant who was, trying to be a comic book artist is because this young assistant had sort of a background in being a thief because his father was a thief. And the old grizzled comic book artist knew it. So that he was trying to get this guy, besides to help him out with the work, to help him out to steal something back from someone. That's Bad Weekend. In this one, we get that young comic book guy, except he's now a little bit older. And the story is told really well because it takes place in different times before it moves up to the present. And it weaves these three stories together. So the first story is about the young comic book guy who has a successful, well, not a minorly successful comic strip called Frank Kafka, P.I. And so it gets licensed. They're making a TV show about it. So the first chapter is about him going out to Hollywood to be a producer, writer on this TV show. And it's obviously all about Ed Brubaker going to Hollywood. You know that's where he got it from and what Hollywood does to you. So that's the first part. It's about him. And when he's out there, he meets his aunt and uncle who he hasn't seen in years. And his uncle was a screenwriter. And his aunt is like 90. And she's like, oh, I'm going to leave you this house when I die. But she's like, my mother lived to 103. So don't hold your breath. So then after Hollywood spits him out, chews him up and spits him out after 6 months or so, he goes back to, I don't know where criminal takes place, maybe New York. And then we switch to the story of this girl who we know from other stories, who's like a teenager who works in this bar, and what happens to her. We get her story. And then we go ahead like 5 years to about now. And their two stories get mixed up. And then as their two stories get mixed up, he gets a package from the aunt he hasn't seen in 5 years or so with his uncle's scripts in it that says, give us $100,000 or you'll never see your aunt again. And he's like, what? But, he doesn't know what to do. So he goes, there's two characters in Criminal. I forget which is the father and which is the son. I think the father is Teague Lawless, and he's a criminal, one of the main characters. And then his son, Ricky Lawless, is also one of the, and I think it's Ricky who's the son. So he grew up with Ricky, and he hasn't seen him in years, but he doesn't know what to do. So he goes to Ricky Lawless, who hasn't been a criminal in a while. He's cleaned up his act, and they have to go back to L.A. to take care of this kidnapping deal. So it's just like an intricately told story of these, though the cartoonist isn't really a criminal, we all woven together, and it's just really well told. Excellent. Another, this might be, even though I just said this about the criminal like single issue put out, this might be my favorite criminal story so far. So good, and they've got a new one out right. I think this one came out in 2025. I think they've got another one that just came out that I haven't gotten yet. But their stuff is so terrific, and that was a good one.
I wonder if the criminal books are selling well in the mainstream market, because
I don't know,
because they're not marketed as a normal.
They keep coming back into print. I know that, so
Yeah.
they must be doing okay. And they've got a TV show that's just ready to come out.
Right, and you can see from the cover the way that they do the marketing, because it's the title of the story,
Right.
and then criminal is just a little thing. So for the regular fans, no, it's a book of the series.
Yeah. I also wrote this book while show running the criminal TV show, and that entire experience influenced it. Yeah, we can tell.
Yeah.
Where does he talk about the name? Okay. Our last criminal book was Cruel Summer. I felt like this book had to be as epic as that one, which is why The Knives is by far our longest original graphic novel yet. And if you're wondering what the title means, like many good titles, it could mean a lot of things. But mostly, I think, the longer you live, the more the knives come for you. So since all the characters were older in this one, this was like the younger generation of the 80s, 90s characters. So they're in their 40s now in this one. Or the early 2000s even characters. He can switch around in time to whenever he wants with these criminal stories. But if you've never read, Brubaker and Phillips, I recommend them highly. They're automatic buys for me.
I have Brubaker and Phillips around here. Let me see where I put Sleeper. Should be around here somewhere.
Sleeper's terrific.
Yeah.
If you're a superhero reader, Sleeper is the good place to start with their stuff.
Yeah. Should be around here somewhere. I'm going to have to see what it is.
He's got to find it now.
Yeah, because
he did that for what, Wildstorm, or was that DC by then?
It was Wildstorm. It's set in the Wildstorm universe.
Yeah, set in the Wildstorm universe.
Yeah,
good stuff.
Here they are. And of course, this is quite old by now, but
yeah, I think that's out of print too.
Should be, yeah. All the Wildstorm stuff is out of print, because there's the 2 TPB set, which is the seasons, but I still have the original trades, which are just with the story arcs. And even the design of this one, it's kind of novelty,
Yeah. That's very what's his name? 60s graphic designer, the man with the golden arm. Milton Glaser, was that him?
Covered to #1.
Yep.
Because of course the guy's undercover. He actually works for international operations, but John Lynch is in a coma, so he can't pull him out. And he's working for Tao, who was briefly involved with the Wildcats.
Who's a mind manipulator.
Yeah.
So you never know if you're following Tao's orders because you want to or because you have to. You never know if your idea is really his idea.
Yeah. I like this sequence here.
Yeah. He did a great job with the villain, Tao. He really did. Brubaker.
This is fun. This is a fun read. I have the other 2. Here's volume 2. So this rounds out season 1.
All the false moves. I think they put out an omnibus of it too, with both seasons in one hardcover.
Yeah,
but I never got it. I still have the original issues.
Because the character actually debuted in a different miniseries, which
Right,
was centered
in
around
Point
centered
Blank.
Point Blank. Yeah, centered
Point
around
Blank.
Grifter.
Right.
Yeah, this one's more comic booky, but it still looks good.
Yeah. I remember it came out so long ago. I picked up those issues of Grifter at Marvel. I was still working there. That was a long time ago.
Season 2 looks more like action oriented than the previous 2 volumes. There he is. This refers to Point Blank. There's Grifter, and he's watching Grifter on the screen.
What was the name of his girlfriend? Ms. Misery or something?
Yeah, she was supposed to be a reference to a character from the Cyberforce Wildcats crossover, but since I think Mark Silvestri owned that one, so they couldn't use her, so they came up with a Miss Misery. She gets her powers are.
She gets stronger if she gets hurt or something?
No, she gets stronger if she's hurting somebody.
Oh, that's right. She gets stronger if she's hurting somebody.
But she loses her power. She starts feeling sick. If she actually cares about somebody.
Right.
And there's a point where they've been dating, and Holden notices that she's coughing a lot more, and she's getting weaker, and she starts treating him badly just so she can try to get better herself.
And Holden didn't feel pain or something? Was that?
Yeah.
Okay. That was his power.
They were a good fit.
So they're a good fit, so she could hurt him and he couldn't feel it. It's hard to choose a favorite criminal. Yeah. It is. I'll have to go back and there are also books. You can pull any of those books off the shelf and just read a volume. It's great stuff. I even like his. What was the superhero book he did?
Brubaker.
What was it?
It was Captain America.
No. Their own independent one they did, but it was a superhero universe kind of thing. But it was kind of. Oh, what was the name? It's right back there on my shelf. I'd have to go back and look at it. Now I'm gonna have to go back and look at it. Just hold on.
I think I've read any of his stuff that I can think of. There was one about like a flooded series, a flooded city, but I don't know if that was that group of creators who worked on that.
Incognito.
Yeah.
Right.
Incognito. There's only like 2 volumes of it, I think. But I think that one may have come out from Marvel. What was that creator-owned line they were doing for Brian Bendis?
Icon.
I think it may have come out from Icon. Incognito. Good stuff. What? Want to do a read-written slab for Tit Goblin?
Yeah.
Let's see. What do I have set up? You have a preferred decade? The 80s?
70s.
When
do those epic books come out?
Let's see. Ooh. Let's go with 1983 Marvel.
Okay.
There's my share screen. Share screen. Window.
This actually seems to be getting more complicated. The share screen business.
Slowing down, that's for sure. Share. There we go. Where'd it go? I was sharing the screen and it didn't. The browser can't access your screen. Try capturing a different screen to see if this continues. Okay. Share screen. Share screen. Window. It said it was sharing it. It's not doing anything.
Better put the image on the browser window and share.
That's what I was doing.
Oh,
I usually put it in the Safari browser window and then share Safari. StreamYard is sharing a window. It says. Nope. Okay, let me try opening it in Chrome.
I usually use Image Glass for these type of things.
I just usually put it in Safari, but it has to be in the same desktop. Let me see. That and I have Chrome share Safari. All right, that's open now. Where is StreamYard again? Let's see if I can share screen, share Chrome tab. Let's highlight that. Let's hit share. Do you see it?
There we go. There we go.
There we go.
Yeah, I remember
We've got Spectacular Spider-Man 88 by Al Milgrom, Incredible Hulk 293 by Brett Blevins, and Daredevil 209 by William Johnson and Danny Bulanati. 1983, December. I don't think I may have had. No, I didn't have that. I may have had that Hulk. I don't remember it at all.
I don't think I read any of these. These are before I was reading Marvel.
I think I read all of them. So the Hulk is the lead up to the Crossroads saga. This Spectacular Spider-Man is the one where the Black Cat leaves Peter for a while.
The only one I may have read is the Hulk. The other two I know I haven't.
And Daredevil, that one's kind of a fill-in issue. Introduces It is no, it is not. It's not during the Micah Sen storyline, but it introduces Gale, an Irish assassin. He's going after. I think this is the first appearance of Gloriana O'Brien.
I have that Spider-Man issue, but I don't remember it. That's Hyde on the cover.
Yeah, Hyde gets away from from jail and goes after Cobra as revenge. And Cobra
I thought it was Van Ball.
Cobra tries to get Spider-Man to protect him from Hyde. But the Black Cat kind of uses her. She's already aware of her bad luck powers.
Okay.
But she doesn't know that that the bad luck powers also influence people who hang around her too much. That's a few issues later.
And the Hulk takes on the Fantastic Two.
Spider-Man. That's so hard to figure out who to slab. I really like that Hulk cover. It's not a great cover, but I like what's going on there.
I think I like Daredevil cover the best.
I think Daredevil's cover has a more classic Daredevil look to it.
It's got a nice Dutch angle and those concentric circles. Who was William Johnson?
He was the regular Daredevil artist at the time, before David Mazzucchelli.
I don't remember him at all. Did he do anything else?
I think he may have done some Indiana Jones. I guess he wasn't bad, but he wasn't amazing. And there were too many amazing artists at Marvel at the time.
Yep. Read Spider-Man slab Daredevil, and I'm going to rip the Hulk right down the center to separate him and the Thing.
So they're not fighting.
So they're not fighting anymore. You guys be good. Stop fighting. And the flamingos would need to go onto the Daredevil cover. I think it's appropriate. And I'm going to switch the Black Cat for the Dolphin. So Hyde is trying to rip the Dolphin in half.
Ooh, Lobo is not going to like that. You know how Lobo is with dolphins.
That's right.
I'm going to read Hulk, slab Spider-Man, because that's an amazing cover. And I'm going to rip Daredevil. That's probably not a very interesting story. Not a very interesting story. I never really liked Gloria Green. And I'm going to Dolphin Cobra. No, I'm going to Dolphin, the guy that's jumping on Daredevil. And I'm going to put the flamingos on the Spider-Man cover.
I'm going to Dolphin the woman that Daredevil's trying to rescue, because now he's going to be rescuing a dolphin.
She's gonna become Matt's girlfriend for a while.
Yep.
And I think I'm perfect with a dolphin.
And I think I'm going to slab Daredevil, read the Hulk, and rip Spidey. I think of the flamingos are going to go on Mr. Fantastic's arm, right above. They're going to be in front of the logo, going, "Geez, what a situation we're in."
Daredevil, rip Hulk, slap Spider.
He had that done right away.
Wilson's kind heart that made them stop fighting. I'm going to Dolphin Wilson's heart.
Replace my heart with a dolphin. Grab my dolphin that's up here.
Did the Gale ever appear again?
I think maybe once.
I don't think I've ever even heard of him. And does the entire Fantastic Four appear in that Hulk issue, or just Mr. Fantastic?
I think so. Yeah, that's when he starts going nuts. It's around this time he starts going nuts.
Wasn't that the plot of Planet Hulk? He was going nuts, so they shot him into space, and in this one they shot him into an alternate dimension.
Yeah.
Everything old is new again.
that darn Doctor Strange. Yeah, Gale appears. Gale appears once more. Right. 2-part story.
Okay, so he's only in 205 and 206. 205, no one ever brings him back.
205, 216, and 217.
Ah, was it the same creative team who brought him back?
Mazzucchelli was drawing by the time.
I have to imagine, he had to be like the writer's favorite. The writer created him or something and wanted to bring him back.
It's Danny O'Neill. Probably thought it was a good idea. He's got to have some bad ideas every once in a while.
I was never much of a fan of his writing, so I can't think of anything he's written that not that I ever thought it was bad or anything, but he was just one of those comic book writers who I didn't pay much attention to. Like, what's your favorite Denny O'Neill story?
Well, I do have the Ra's al Ghul trade paperback that collects all the stories where he appears.
I hated almost every Ra's al Ghul story because they're all the same to me. I was like, oh. Goes up against Batman, they fight, he dies, he comes back. He goes up against Batman, they fight, he dies, he comes back.
No, that's what happens when Danny O'Neill isn't writing.
Oh, okay. Like I said, I can't even blame. I don't even know who to blame for that. I don't remember who did it. I just knew I was never a fan of Ra's al Ghul stories. He was my least favorite Batman villain.
Have you read the the way he used Batman's information to defeat the Justice League. It was Bruce's plan to defeat the Justice League if they ever went bad, and Ra's al Ghul he stole the plans from Bruce's computer.
Did Denny O'Neil write that one?
No, that was Mark Waid.
Oh, okay. I remember that story, but I didn't actually. I don't think I actually read it. It always made me think it was the dumbest thing because Batman can't even beat the Joker, and you want him to beat the whole Justice League? Come on.
Yeah. Well, what's Batman's power? He's Batman.
Batman's power is he has an impossible skill set.
He has money.
He has money.
He has money.
We know money is a superpower.
He has money, he has time, and he has dementia.
Read, rip, and slab. Let's see. Another comic I got. I only have two more. My two regulars. Department of Truth.
Yes.
Issue 35 this is up to.
Damn.
And it's just impossible to describe any plot of the Department of Truth. Because this is the one that if enough people believe in a conspiracy, it becomes true and rewrites history. And it started out being about this new recruit to the Department of Truth. And the Department of Truth is run by Lee Harvey Oswald. And the Soviet Union had their Department of Lies, which they named ironically because the U.S. named theirs the Department of Truth. But the Soviet Union is gone now, so the Department of Lies is gone. And they've told flashback stories, but now we've got like our hero from the beginning and some other, like the Department of Truth has changed and kind of been taken over. So our heroes from the beginning have made a splinter group that they're breaking off to form their, what did they call it at the end here? The black hats are like the villains of the piece. That was the lady with the X's over her eyes that I've showed before. There's if you have X's over your eyes, you're part of the black hats. They're like enemies somehow of the Department of Truth, but they're not like the Soviets. They're whoever. And they decided that they're forming their own splinter group, the White Hats. And we also have a backup story of the story of Elvis and the Soviets trying to the reason Elvis got fat and drug-addled in his old age is because the Soviets were taking him down and spreading all these rumors about him that became real. So that's what happened to Elvis. So this is the story of Elvis back here. This is they had a backup story going on for a few issues that just ended. So that's been a fun little story. I imagine they'll put it in a one-shot special too. They've been known to do that. Reprint things in specials. But the Department of Truth's been a good book. If you've never read it, pick it up and give it a read. If you like weird conspiracy books.
Here's where Batman has the impossible set of skills.
Where Ra's al Ghul gets his plans.
Yeah. Because he turns all of the leaks.
You're muted, Wilson. Are you talking to us or someone else?
Nope, sorry. I was just making a joke about Batman. He should encrypt his computer systems better. Ra's al Ghul. He thought of everything, but he didn't think to lock his own computer.
The password was Bat1.
Probably was, because he has to name everything Bat something.
Swinging on a rope, he looks like a dope.
Batman.
Killer Croc gives him trouble, but he can take out the whole Justice League. Sure. All you have to do is give him time and he can defeat anyone. Then how come the same villains keep beating him up? This is 19th time taking on the Riddler. What? The guy makes riddles.
Because when the villain's in jail, Batman makes no money on the villain's merchandise. He's getting a cut of that money from the merchandising.
That was one of the...
If I were Batman and I was fighting the Riddler, and the Riddler would ask me, "Why did the chicken cross the road?" I would answer, "To punch the Riddler." Then I would punch the Riddler.
Where's that line?
Would work.
There's some line in here. I would say this is the one that's about Superman and Lex Luthor, kind of, and Superman's getting really the Knight is getting really pissed, and he's complaining about how many times he's had to fight this guy. He says rehabilitation doesn't work. How many times has Zero escaped prison? Zero is the Luthor guy. He's like, hell, he doesn't have to. He hasn't even been prosecuted. Too rich to be touched. So like the villain doesn't even get prosecuted after he fights him every time. So he's like, why not just kill him? That's when he was
Right, because the hero is not deputized. They can't prosecute him because his word against him, and he doesn't show up to court.
And the back pretty much sums up the plot, where it says, "It's the Knight. He saved the city again. Hip hip hooray!" And the Knight's saying, "Crisis averted. But I'm so tired. I haven't slept in a week." And then Zero's down here saying, "If my calculations are correct, when the Knight falls asleep, we all die." More like he wants to kill him when he's asleep, but you know. But it's good stuff. And of course, the last comic of the week is Spawn. Another issue of Spawn. It's solidly Spawn. They're trying to bring back whoever was the head devil who created Spawn, who died apparently a while ago. What was that?
Malboza?
Let me see if I can get you his name.
Malabolgia, yeah.
Where is his name? Because Malabolgia. So Cagliostro is bringing back Malabolgia.
Didn't know he died. I didn't even hear he was sick.
And Cagliostro is Sin. And so at the end, there he is. He's like, "Why am I so small?" He's like, "Oh, you have to steal Spawn's powers. You'll get bigger." So he's back. Like I said, I don't even know who he is, really. But, you know, Spawn's a fun book, so I'll keep getting it. Why not?
So this is the one that collects the...
Yes, I actually have that one.
Hail of the Demon.
I don't think I've actually read it, but I have it. I've used it for reference at times.
I want you to bang my daughter and produce the hair.
And the creepy daughter always just made me go, "Oh, man. Why does Batman like the creepiest women? Catwoman, creepy. Talia, creepy."
Because there ain't no loving like crazy loving.
There's nothing like Neil Adams' shirtless Batman.
Oh, yeah.
This hairy chest.
But you don't have... he's not dying and coming back in the Lazarus pit. That's what lazy writers do. And of course we have these.
Yeah, I was never a fan of those either.
You know, I
like the artwork, of course, but once again, the writing just left me cold.
Right. I think there's a trade with the continuation of this, because that's when Mike Grell was drawing. But I didn't buy it. Should buy it. And I have Son of the Demon somewhere around here.
Yeah. I think I still have that buried somewhere. I'll have to give it away.
Yeah. The last few stories in the Tales of the Demon trade don't have Neil Adams art. They're drawn by Don Newton. So quite different. It's not the same thing.
No.
Yeah, he was good though.
Yeah, but they are part of the continuity. What Danny O'Neill was doing here was that he was establishing a continuity, because the stories continue from where they left off, kind of, even though it's usually months between appearances. But they move on with the plot.
One of the books I gave away to one of my students this week, and she loved it, was I think it came out in the 90s. It was a DC Batman Superman book called like the greatest team up stories ever told. It was one of those, and I think it had stories from the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, and I think into the 80s. I hadn't looked at it in 30 years. So I'm like, and she asked me if you have any greatest Superman stories. I was like, let me see. And it was a little water damaged in the corner too. I'm like, it must have been when there was a leak around here sometime. There's a couple of times over the years I had a couple books get a little water damage from water heater leaks or something. But she really liked that one. I was like, good. Glad someone likes it. I gave away some more of Jerry's 90s DC books. Catwoman, Wonder Woman, Shazam, I think it was, with some Aquaman thrown in. Just random issues from the 90s.
The Power of Shazam title from the 90s is very, very good.
Yeah, I think it was some of those. Someone said they liked them, so.
Yeah, because you can read the whole of it, and it's good throughout. It's one of those series that it doesn't blow you away, but you read all of them and you're satisfied.
Solid stories, solid comic books. A good solid B. That's
Jerry Ordway ones?
Yeah.
There's plenty of room in the comic book industry for a good solid B.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Hey, if everything was a solid B, comics would be in much better shape.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Good stuff.
Wonder Woman solo, I can never get into it. I don't like Wonder Woman solo. I like people interacting with Wonder Woman.
Like I said, Wonder Woman is more important a cultural figure than a comic book character. Like her comic book has never been great. Mm-hmm. She's had some solid B runs from Perez and Byrne, from what I've been told. I don't even know. That's what everybody points to when you mention Wonder Woman, and I'm like, okay. Some solid A covers from Brian Boland and Adam Hughes.
But Aquaman at the time got interesting because it was the whole, let's change everything just because. But Peter David, of course, had fun writing, and he explained it once, and he said, I went to the DC office to pitch for Aquaman, and they didn't seem very interesting. So I said, I want to write Aquaman, and I'm going to give him lots of problems, He's going to have long hair, and I'm going to chop off his hand and replace it with a hook. What?
Okay.
Aquaman isn't an important comic book character nor cultural character, except as a joke. You get a lot of Aquaman jokes.
He's one of those funny because a lot of people that read Bronze Age Aquaman really like that run.
I don't know why. I remember reading. I had like 2 Aquaman issues as a kid.
Well,
both I think drawn by Jim O'Paro. Both looked nice, but
it's because he gets married. It's because he gets married and has a kid, and the kid dies.
You know what? I don't even know who created Aquaman. Or when he was created.
1940. Aquaman was back appeared in the
Was
back
there
pages of more
Aquaman #1?
only in the 60s.
So,
Aquaman
so
appeared in more fun comics.
More Fun Comics. What issue number?
7, I think. It was in
I
1940.
never hear that referenced.
Mhm. Right, because the Golden Age Aquaman, it's a series of 5 pages which appear in the back of the comic. Nobody cares. What Aquaman has going for it is that it was one of the few heroes who was not canceled during the Atomic Age. So there's Aquaman stories throughout in more fun. And so it gets to the 60s and Aquaman is active. They don't need to bring him back or anything. And because he's active, well, let's give him his own comic and let's put him in the Justice League. Whatever.
Was he National Comics or one of those other ones?
More Fun was National.
Okay.
I think More Fun was always National because the All American was published at the same time as National. But Wonder Woman comes from All American. She was part of the Gaines stable.
Right.
Yeah, because I'm trying to think. It's like, I have no history of Aquaman.
No.
I
couldn't name a Golden Age Aquaman creator.
Yeah.
Yeah, More Fun number 73. I think the character was the artist was Paul Norris.
Paul Norris.
Yeah, and Mort Weisinger was already there as a writer. He was one who came up with the idea. The fun thing is Aquaman is the underwater hero that everybody remembers, but he showed up a full year after Namor.
That's because the TV show Super Friends in the 70s put Aquaman on the map.
Mm-hmm. And even before that, it was those sets of DC superhero cartoons that ran, and Aquaman had his own segment from that. As well. So Aquaman, the Atom, Teen Titans, all those heroes had come out on television for a little while. And then Super Friends put them in there. And then Aquaman was always around. And it was like, not that I know he's anyone's favorite superhero, but he was just always there.
TV made him.
Yeah. Aquaman Green Arrow debuted in the same comic in the same issue. Number 70. Really? More Fun number 73.
What year was that?
1941. Late 41, yeah.
They had 73 issues already?
Yeah, More Fun was started as new fun. So it was the second. No, the first DC comic. Yeah, because I once tried going issue by issue with everything pre-Superman on the Grand Comics database, and that thing goes on and on and on and on. It's 3 years. It's 3 years before they do anything interesting. And they have a bunch of characters that nobody remembers. Because the Dr. Occult is one of the few that enslaved Bradley. They're the ones that everybody remembers from that era. But there's a bunch of stuff that nobody gives a crap about. And there's
nobody cares what More Fun I had.
Yeah, there's characters because it's the first DC comic. It still looks like a bunch of Sunday pages put together.
I have the facsimile of the hardcover facsimile over there somewhere.
Yeah. One of these days you should pull it out and we'll go over all of the strips.
I think we did when I got it, but we can do it again.
Yeah. Because there's stuff that's in black and white. There's stuff that's in black and white and red.
Right.
Yeah, they didn't know how to make a comic book because of course they didn't. Comic books are brand new, so they all look like Sunday pages.
Was that the one that was put out by Malcolm Wheeler?
Yeah.
Okay. more fun.
Fun comics.
Oh, the
Let's
first one
have
is still
more
new
fun.
fun. The first one is
New
still new
fun.
fun. Yeah.
Let's have new fun. Oh,
Yeah.
well, we should let Paolo get to bed.
Oh, but it's White Jacket who from Funny Zinc who does produces the comic.
Ah. Balloons will be on my channel next week. It can't see my fingers in the background. How about double? All right, some lasers. There we go. We'll be on my channel next week with more fun and excitement. Ooh, more comics.
More fun
New
comics.
fun. What was that?
More fun comics.
More fun comics. New fun comics. More fun comics. All sorts of comics.
And in a few, when does the Comics the Magazine come out?
Oh, must be a month.
Huh.
Because it was last week was final order cutoff. So probably in a month. In March, probably sometime.
We'll go over that one too.
We'll go over that one too. I have to finish reading that Secret History of Hillman.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for stopping by. I hope you had fun. Because we certainly did. And we will be back next week on Jared's channel with more comics.
Yeehaw.
Bye-bye.
Great weekend.